Welcome to the War Report. My name is Quan. Cyrus is not with me this week or for the coming weeks. He's out being a student, so at the moment it's just me, Oos, for a little while. We'll see what we'll see whenever he comes back. This is a show where we talk about NXT and not AEW this week because they're both on at the same time, and I had to make an executive decision on which show I wanted to watch this week, and I'm gonna keep it brief. If I had to choose between the two, I'm picking NXT every time at this point in 2024. But I'm not doing it alone. If you haven't seen from the title already, I'm honored. Let me repeat that. Honored to have a special guest, Armon from Stay Busy Vibe Magazine. You can find him at your local NBA game, WNBA game in the box seats. He don't sit with the regular people. You feel me? Um Armon, what's good, man?
I'm chilling, man. It's always good. Always happy when I get the message from Quan to pull up on War Report. So
Yes, sir.
good to be here, man. Can't wait to get into everything. And I'm very thankful to you for making the executive decision to not watch AEW. I
Yeah, I'm not
honestly I haven't tapped into any of their weekly shows in months. Like I'll at this point I'll watch the pay-per-views, but the weekly shows, I think I get enough from the Discord.
I gotta be honest. It's getting tough. It's a combination of I'm just kind of tired. Every time around like late October, November, December-ish, I start getting really tired of just wrestling in general.
Hmm.
I think I kind of grow fatigue every time around this time of year. It's kind of a lull. I feel
Yeah.
like in AEW's instance, this last year, I feel like it's been a really down year for AEW as far as the weekly shows go. So to me, this was a no-brainer. If I had to choose between the two, is NXT. Looking at my timeline, I mean, obviously it's curated to kind of my interests. It seemed like more people were watching NXT this week over Dynamite. I'm not even really sure anything that happened over on Dynamite this week. If anything crazy happens, I'll speak on it next week with whoever my guest is next week. But for now, we're in the ECW arena. A lot of stuff going on just in the world, man. in, in
You can say
America,
that again.
man. We have a new president or a new old president.
Hmm.
Um, it's I don't want to. This isn't like some political. I'm no political expert or anything like that. I like to keep up with stuff, especially on election years, as a lot of people do. Yeah, man, it's interesting. Well, let me ask you first. What were your just like kind of like your initial reaction as the night went on? As you know, you kind of started to realize, oh, she's not about to win this, and he's gonna win again.
Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow. I was like actively refreshing my Apple News because I think they had the most up to date, counts of the
Yeah,
electoral votes. So aggressively, refreshing that and um watching on MSNBC. And yeah, Trump got out to an early lead, which was kind of expected. That's kind of how things have gone,
yeah,
with the red states. And the gap started to get a little wider and wider. And then, she picked up Cali, she picked up a couple states with like 10 plus votes. And I was like, okay, I'm still riding with the optimism that I carried throughout the entire day. And then it got, late into the night. It was like 1 a.m. I was like, I really need to go to bed for work. And I was just like, you know what? I really hope that when I wake up, something shifts. I was hoping, she was somehow able to flip Pennsylvania, and a couple other of those battleground swing states. And I like randomly woke up at 4 a.m. and saw all the tweets and saw the count, and I was like, damn, this is this is real. He's somehow back in office despite all of the nonsense that he's done. People wanted to put their faith in him again. So it's very sobering, very numbing. Thankfully I got to stay home from work today, so I like started my day whooping someone's ass in Madden just to feel
see,
good
that's
about
what's
something.
me and you are on the same page. You know what I did today? I started a whole new dynasty on NCAA football.
Hmm.
Played like 7 games today. I ain't gonna hold you. I wasn't online. I just like let me Cause I knew if I
Yeah.
was gonna be on social media, I would have reacted or something like that, or said something dumb. I'm good now, but like, I think earlier in the day, I might have reacted and said something stupid or something. But I'm kind of in the same boat where you were last night. I had the Apple News app ready to go. I was also optimistic. I was like, oh yeah, we're good. Like I'm looking at the numbers. PA, I'm like, oh, PA should be cool. I saw, I was very optimistic going in the last everything post NYC like MSG thing. I was like, oh yeah, they're cooked. It didn't look good after MSG,
Yeah.
in my opinion, for the right. And I didn't think the Democratic Party did the best job with this whole situation, but I thought it was enough to where they're not doing any worse than whatever Trump and them are doing. So I was like, okay, we're
Yeah.
cool. And then, like I said, I had that same kind of optimism going in, and then I saw, like how on the Apple News app they had like all the swing states all kind of in that little like column
Yeah.
thing. I just saw all that red, and I was like, ugh, that doesn't look good. Oh, this
Yeah.
is not looking good at all. And then, we get to the end of the night. Not only did she lose, she got her ass whooped.
Yeah. Lost the popular vote
She
and the
lost the
electoral
popular vote.
college.
They won the state. They won the
Yeah.
Senate. It was
Yeah.
just a clean sweep. I was like, man, they got their asses.
Yeah.
It's it. I'm trying to remember how I felt in 2016 compared to how I feel now because it's not the same feeling.
It's not.
20,
It's not.
20 2016, I was just like, I was very disappointed in our country. I
Mhm.
feel like, and this time I'm like I'm a little confused at how bad she lost. Like I like her losing wasn't out of the realm of possibility to me ever. Any point
Yeah.
because all the polls and stuff were saying it was close, but the way she got her ass kicked like that, like it doesn't make sense to me how that even happened. Um, but now I'm just kind of like, yeah, this is kind of what it is, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I don't even know how to feel anymore.
no, I agree. 2016 was a genuine shock. Like my
Yeah,
frat, we hosted a watch party and everyone in there felt like real confident. And then by the end of the
it was a
night,
joke, bro. He was like, this was the point.
yeah,
He was a joke. Like no one took him
bro.
serious
It
until
was
the people took him
like
serious.
I couldn't even believe that he actually followed through with it, like got the nomination and actually like made it that far. So when it
Yeah,
actually happened and you just like and reality set in, you were like, wow, like would that really happen? Like y'all really voted for this guy with zero political experience. Like we used to watch him on The Apprentice. He's someone who rappers have rapped about. Like Mac Miller made a song about him. Ray Shremmerd made a song about him. But like in no way, shape, or form should people have trusted him in office. And now with this one, it's just like frustration.
yeah,
Because so much has happened over the last couple years with him legally and comments that he's made. Like he's gotten bolder, he's gotten more
yeah,
disrespectful, he's gotten more blatant, and it's empowered people in a way that we've never seen before. And um yeah, I mean there's just so many layers to it. I talked to my therapist about it today. I've been in a bunch of group chats talking about it today, and it's all settled in, but it's just crazy. That's really the best way to sum it up. It's just crazy.
yeah. I'm kind of what it's one of those situations now where it's like, what can you do? We just gotta
Yeah.
deal with what comes for the next 4 years, 4 years plus, possibly. I mean, there's certain things that could happen that could have ramifications for decades to
Yeah.
come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As someone who has a daughter who, if I'm not mistaken, no, she won't be able to vote next election, but the one after that. Either way,
Hmm.
even having it, whatever she gonna have to deal with in the future, as she grows into a young woman. She's gonna be 15 this year, so like it's only a couple more years. She's gonna be grown and out to college or whatever she gonna do. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little concerning. It says a father. Like, who
I
knows what's
can,
about to happen?
yeah, I can't even imagine. So I just encourage everyone to like get informed, participate locally. It's bigger than just the presidential election. And, I just think politics and especially like the season of elections gets a lot of people talking and you can tell that they don't really know what they're talking about. So I just encourage everyone to read, use Google, watch MSNBC, really get informed on these things and figure out, whatever you can do to make an impact locally. Um, because it's real and it's clear that, we need to mobilize ourselves, but also, try and mobilize the people around us. Because the fact that there were 18 million less people who voted this year than the last election was glaring, very glaring.
Especially because last time with the pandemic, like you couldn't even go outside for real.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hey, I think America has a lot of work to do, but
absolutely.
we'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to get all super duper political about it, about
Yeah,
whatever and whatnot.
yeah,
Well, while we're here, what's been going on? You got I mean, like you got there's a lot going on. I know you got to stay busy. Oh, what am I talking about? You had a big interview with Trick Williams that just dropped today.
yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
listened to it
man.
yet. I'm going to play it tomorrow when I'm in the gym. I'm gonna get
Mhm.
to it. But yeah, how was that? What was the
It was awesome, man. In true WWE fashion, I don't know if you've ever well, no, you have obviously interviewed people, but they typically hit you up very. It's like it's
last
rare that I've
very
had one
last minute?
skit.
Yeah,
It is always like just the most insane, timing, and you
yeah,
kind of
worst
gotta,
time, dude. It'd be like 2 in the
yeah,
afternoon on a Tuesday. Like, bro, man, I'm working.
yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, yeah, so I got hit up over the weekend and we spoke Monday morning, but it was great, man. That was my third time like speaking with Trick, my first time interviewing him. So we have a level of
Yeah,
like comfort with one another. So it just
yeah.
felt like a really normal conversation. And he's easy to talk to. He's a genuinely like charming, charismatic dude. So it was cake. And it was funny too. After we got off, my podcast producer, he was like, yo, I think that's like the best one that you've done. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's fire. I can't wait to
for
listen.
the yeah, and for the Trick interview to be the best, when I've interviewed, Becky
You,
Lynch and
yeah, you. I
Trish
about to, you better
Stratus.
interview some stars. I'm about to say.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, yo, for you to feel like that one was the best, I'm like, that's a credit to Trick more than me, to be honest, because he
Yeah.
really opened up. So I really enjoyed it. Hope y'all tap in. You can hit Stay Busy Pod on YouTube. It's also available on all audio streaming platforms. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it.
Love it. I love that, man. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, no, you ain't lying about WWE. You want an interview? Yeah, come do it at 11 a.m. on a Monday. We got you. Just the most
Yeah.
random times.
Yeah,
That's
no, thank God that I was working from home that day so I could just set up
yeah, it
my
can just
my
all
little
work
pod
out.
studio real quick. Because if I was at the office and didn't have my mic or didn't have my ring light or anything, my webcam, it would have been I would have been stressed out, but made it happen.
That's all I'm mad at. Yo, who did the Jets play this week? Hold on, let's see who y'all playing. Y'all playing us? Oh yeah, you're playing the
We
Cardinals.
we got the
All
Cardinals.
right.
Yep, yep,
I ain't
yep.
worried about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I ain't worried about it then. I ain't worried.
Yeah, we haven't seen y'all yet, so it's probably gonna be
Surprise them.
like
End of the year
yeah.
type shit.
Yeah, like it always works out for some teams where they play like their division rival and they play someone else and then they play them again that third week. So it might
Yeah.
end up that way for us. But it's good to see Tua back on the field for y'all. That obviously may not bode well for us. Last year you guys smacked us on Black Friday. And the other time we played, I think it might have been a little closer. So we'll see how it goes, man.
We'll see how it goes. Look, do it, man. Put the cap on, bro. Put the guard. I know you. You know what I mean. You did fine. The last 2 games you played,
Yeah.
haven't done nothing stupid. You slide. Like if you're not gonna slide, just put the cap on, Oos. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
it's very concerning. I mean, as a former football player, I get it. You want to be on that field. You want to help your team win. But as I get older and just see the CTE
Yeah,
research and just kind of being removed from it, it's like quality of life for me matters more than
you
being
you
out
know what
there
it is.
competing.
You know what it is too. I think just because as I've matured in my life, just watching. I recognize like when you're that age, in your 20s or whatever. you feel like you're invincible and like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to
Hmm.
me for real. But then like once you start aging a little bit, like, damn, I was kind of wild. And I feel the same way when I see like Darby Allin, even though I think we're like the same age. But I'm like, yo, like I get it, but like, yo, chill, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's 30, he's 31. Okay, so yeah, I'm like when I turned 30, that's when stuff started to hurt more often. Like I started, I
Hmm.
started getting knee pains and like joint pains and stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know.
man.
Just, yo, just chill, man. Just chill out. But yeah, Dolphins, it is what it is with them. This season's over for me. I mean, we can like if we just win it out the rest of the season, but I just don't think that's happening. So,
Hey
you
man, it's
know,
possible. We are
it's
the Jets
possible.
are the Jets are second in the AFC East right now, and we're 3-6. So
I
so
know.
you can't rule out anything.
Oh man, this East is terrible. All right, man. Let's get in these trenches real quick, man. There's no real news. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Did you watch Crown Jewel?
I did watch Crown Jewel, yeah.
Okay. Just any brief thoughts? Kind of just like what you thought? Any standout
Um,
matches for you or moments, really?
yeah, I really liked Gunther Cody. I wouldn't give that a 5, probably like a 4.5. It didn't hit 5 territory for me yet, but it did have that slow, methodical, technical type of wrestling that I do really enjoy. When it's appropriate. That style is not for everyone, but Cody and Gunther are the perfect dudes for that technical but dramatic type stuff. Bloodline match wasn't that great to me. I think in large part due to Solo, and Solo's getting better. I don't want to, pile on Solo, but it wasn't necessarily the theater that I'm used to when Roman, Jimmy, Jay are involved. I think that Jacob Fatu, Tama, and Solo, like, they need to go to a couple more, classes, like a couple more theater classes before they're really ready to,
They're not ready
to.
for real bloodline. I know that's true because the segment they had on Raw with Sammy J and Jimmy,
Mhm.
that's classic bloodline theater right there. You know
Exactly.
that you know what I mean? Like they know what they're doing out there when it comes to these kind of emotional promos. But I'm right there with you as far as the 6 man tag goes. I thought it was kind of I a little underwhelming. I'll say it a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
The
okay, that
finish
was it.
felt very abrupt.
Yes, it really did. And then
Yeah.
they messed up with the kick out spot. Yeah, it wasn't nothing to write home about. So we can just go briefly through the card real quick. Damage Control, Meta Girls, Piper and Niven, the 4-way tag team championship match. Good match. I thought this was a great showing for all the women.
Hmm.
Specifically, Lash Legend continues to impress me. I'm very you know how it is with the NXT people. Like I've said it a million. I grow attachment to them. I'm like very proud and just kind of
Yeah.
when they show out on the main stage in front of a bigger crowd or whatever, or just show any kind of improvement, especially someone like Lash, where she they tried to write her off so early
Hmm.
just to get the agenda off about NXT changing direction or whatever. So to see her kind of come up from that and not like not let it get to her or whatever, and kind of just do her thing, train, and she looks great out there. Jakara, yeah, you know, you know, eh,
Yeah,
she looks
nah.
great. I'll put it that way. But yeah, man, the women's 4-way was a fun match.
Yeah.
I think finally it took a while, but I feel like they finally really it feels like they're really investing in their women's tag division.
Hmm.
In process, it might have hurt the Raw women's singles division a little bit, but a little give and
Yeah.
take. They'll be all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure they were expecting Rhea to not get hurt. So her and Liv could anchor that up until, Becky returns and they get more people back. But I love to see a thriving women's tag division. And I think,
yeah,
Lash and Jakar showing out the way they did was great, but doing it in a match with Bianca and Jade and Io and Kyrie, who it's like, yes, they can help bring you to that level, but like you
yeah.
still got to bring it to a certain degree.
You
And
got to
like
keep
if
up.
yeah, yeah, and like it's clear when someone can't keep up, but I think they really held their own. And Chelsea and Piper are just such great Swiss Army knives. You can put them in any situation and they thrive. So that was just super chaotic fun. I really love that match.
Speaking of chaotic, anytime Big Bronson Reed's around, there's usually chaos involved. They've really figured
Hmm.
that out as far as like how to get the crowd to give a fuck about Bronson Reed. Because for the longest time, it was Bronson Reed's music would hit, the crowd would sit on their hands, and they would do it the whole match until he did the tsunami.
Yeah.
Even if the match was good, they just for some reason you just wasn't connecting. But I feel like they kind of made him like when he's around just chaos and just it really works well. And I think Seth Rollins, of course, he's one of the greatest to ever do this. I
Hmm.
think confidently say. So them two having a match, another really good match. Saudi Seth, low key, Saudi Seth might be a thing. I
Oh,
got
for sure.
a couple of guys when they go to Saudi, they start acting different. He's up there,
For
Gunther's up
sure.
there. Gunther act
Yeah,
different
yeah.
in Saudi, but yeah, no, I thought this was a really fun match. Shout out to Bronson Reed with the MF Doom singlet. That's pretty
Shout out
cool.
to Seth wrestling in Space Jam. He was wilding.
Is it Space Jams?
Yeah.
I didn't even peep. Oh, I gotta look at
Yeah,
that again.
it's Space Jam 11's on.
How do you? It's, I'm flat footed, so like most Jordans hurt my feet.
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine wrestling no damage.
Bro.
11. Yeah, that doesn't sound too fun.
And he did a
Um,
super stomp wearing them shits. Like insane.
Nia Jax, Liv Morgan.
Um, it
Eh.
wasn't as good as their matches earlier this year to me. But I think the chicanery of Tiffany kind of, that maybe took away from all that they could do. I was fine.
Are you over
I
that? Are you over the fake cash in thing?
It's funny. We just ranted about this on the Rewriters Room. I think that they've definitely done it a bit too much. And I understand as fans we have to be patient. I think I'm a very patient wrestling fan, but you just kind of got to get somewhere with it. And I think the tough part, which Chan mentioned, is like being a Money in the Bank holder and being next to a champion. It's like people are just like people all automatically get in their mind like, okay, she's gonna cash in on her friend Nia Jax, who is champion. So when's it gonna happen? And when you tease it every PLE, it goes from that anticipation to frustration. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit tired of it. Their dynamic is really fun, but it's a bit inconsistent. Like sometimes Tiffany gets bold with her, sometimes Tiffany is real subservient to her. There's just like, they're kind of doing a bunch of different things that like there's no consistency. So it's weird, but
Yeah,
I it's it's still cool. I think that Nia's done a great job as champion. I love what Liv has been doing, and yeah, I mean, I didn't expect a 5-star classic from them, but the match was fine.
I agree. I'm right there with you. What else we got going on? Triple threat: LA Knight, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes. Hashtag good match. I had no real thoughts on this match besides it just being very good.
Yeah, really good finish.
Yeah, I love
Really
that
good
finish. That
finish.
was a really fun finish. I do. I will say that much. LA
Yeah,
Knight, sneaky run, sneaky title run where I think people aren't really talking about it, but he's putting on a lot of really good matches.
he is. He
I
is.
don't I don't know what's gotten into him in the last like 6 months. He's been hooping.
He has. He's come a long way from when the world wanted him to be world champion and the Discord was arguing about him for months. He's actually gotten really, really good in ring. He's able to do, longer matches. I
Yeah,
think a big part of it is the talent he's been with. He was feuding with AJ Styles. Now he's in there with Melo and Andrade. Like, if you have a bad match with Melo and Andrade, that's kind of on you. But he's definitely been bringing it. I thought he was gonna lose. I
I
was
did too.
kind of ready for Melo to be U.S. champ, but it's not his time yet, and that's fine. Just shout out to L.A.
I wonder who is the one to take it off of
Me too. Me
LA
too.
Knight. I'm interested.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I wouldn't hate Santos. LA's already beat Santos a bunch,
yeah.
so I feel like it's gonna end up being one of Andrade or Melo, and but LA's beating them in singles matches too. So
Yeah,
are they gonna
that
do another triple threat? Like how are they gonna
was some kind of
make this
4-way.
happen?
I'm
Yeah.
trying to look at the SmackDown roster right now. Yeah, I don't even know. Who else is really in that mid card at this point that seems viable? I guess I don't even want to put that in the air. I'm gonna say Solo. I don't even want to put Solo in the air. I guess Solo's too. He's already in that kind of main event sector now. He don't. I don't think he'd be.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
he's
trying to
not
think.
going backwards. Maybe they do
Maybe
something with
Shinsuke
Grayson,
or Grayson
uh,
Shinsuke.
Grayson or Theory, and maybe that's what finally breaks Grayson or Theory up.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't
That's a good
know.
question. That's a good question. We'll have to see. That's up to Triple H. I will say when you were talking about you got to be patient. You got to be real patient with Triple H's booking.
Yes.
Sometimes like it's unfortunate it ended the way it did with Rhea and Liv, but like man, they were just dragging it. It was every week. It was kind of the same kind of formula. Rhea comes out, I'm gonna get my hands on you, and then she does, and Dom saves her. Like, which is fine. That's a great way to get heat. But if you do it 6 weeks in a row with like one match in between that, it's just like, man, all right, man, we get it.
Yeah, it
Even
got
though, but also like at the same time, Rhea massive pop every time you do it. So it's kind of like
every
one of those
single
situations
time.
every single time. Like who you gonna listen to, the internet or the crowd every week? So I don't
Hmm.
know. But
Yeah.
Gunther and Cody, you've already spoke on it. I gave it a 4.25. I do agree with you. I think Gunther is really he kind of really perfected that kind of main event WWE style, which I think sometimes Solo was trying to emulate,
Hmm.
and it wasn't working because he never really like picked up that next gear when he would get into it. Gunther knows well enough that you have to get into that next gear at some point. And of course,
Yeah.
Cody's another sneaky. I feel like people don't talk about kind of his catalog this year.
Hmm.
It's kind of sneaky good. Like I'm looking
He
at the stats on my spreadsheet. It's pretty good.
he'd probably be my male wrestler of the year. It's him or Damien.
Damien had a hell of a year.
Yeah, it's him or Damien. Like Cody's got the AJ matches, the Logan match, which I think everyone's forgotten about already. That was pretty good. He brought Solo up to to good matches, although the steel cage was way better than the Bloodline Rules match. Yeah,
Steel cage,
Cody's
yeah.
of course the Roman Rock tag and then Roman himself. Like Cody's that guy, man. He's that guy.
Was the Dom match this year or was that last year?
That was last year at Money in
Dom
the
was last year.
Bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who you wrestled? Oh, he had the six man this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, good. That was a really good match. Uh, Crown Jewels for the most part can often be kind of inconsequential. I felt like this show was one of those shows where it wasn't outside of Bloodline stuff. Nothing really progressed much more than that, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, but a decent show. I for a Saturday show in the middle of the day wasn't terrible.
Not,
Uh,
I'm never mad at it. Like if,
I'm not mad at it.
yeah, yeah, I'm not mad at it at all.
Next up, the next topic might get some people mad. Unfortunately, we had some releases this Friday. Um, two of them very controversial topics on the podcast between me and Cyrus over the years. I feel like um first one being Indy Hartwell, who me and Cyrus have had differing opinions on this young lady for a while now. This one, I mean, I don't want to like come off mean by saying this because I do like Indy Hartwell,
Hmm.
but I feel like sometimes when she's in the ring, it's like she got two left feet out there. And it's unfortunate because I like her, but like I think she has great comedic timing. I think she's like charming, but her wrestling after all these years, to me personally, I'm like I don't see it. Um,
Yeah, yeah. No,
I
I agree, man. And it's we're in the work rate era. You know, a
yeah,
majority of the roster right now are competent workers, and that's just what it is. And she's working with Candace, who is a pretty good worker herself. So you got to be able to bring it on that level. Fantastic character. She was so funny to me. I was very into Indy whenever she was doing segments or talking, but yeah, man, the in ring just wasn't there, and you ultimately gotta sometimes you just gotta trim the fat, and she ended up being that. So it's tough, but definitely hope the best for her in the future.
I think she'll be fine. She's only 28. She's still in her 20s. Like she can probably go to TNA or something like that and do fine.
Hmm.
Um, and who knows? Maybe in a year or two, couple years, she comes back. Who knows? Um, so I'm not too worried about Indy Hartwell. The next release was surprising to me because I had assumed she wasn't with the company anyway. That's Tegan Knox.
Hmm.
Um, I have been in some some dangerous waters talking about Tegan Knox
Oh
on the
yeah,
internet over the years. Um,
I forgot about that.
Tegan to me, I'll be honest, I'm keeping the stack. I still to this day don't really understand the appeal of Tegan Knox. I don't know what I'm missing that everyone else seemed to see. I thought she was fairly average in the ring and nothing really that interesting about her to me. You know, I'll admit she doesn't get the most time, but even when she
Mhm.
did time, I feel like there's so many more girls that I'm much more interested in on these shows. So when I asked on online, I was like, "What's the appeal of Tegan?" Because I don't get it. I don't understand why is she so popular. And people kind of gave me shit for it. I'm like, but no one really gave me like I don't know. Like what do you have any overall thoughts on kind of like just Tegan in general or kind of what her career was in WWE?
Yeah, definitely a competent worker. It looked like there were a couple different times that they really wanted to do something with her, and either it was Vince's senile booking or an injury. I'm not the type to blame injuries on people. You know, as a Laker fan who loves Anthony Davis, I hate that people have tried to use his injuries against him, and so I kind of give Tegan that same grace.
Yeah,
It's just a really unfortunate thing, but at the end of the day, the best ability is being available,
availability. Yeah,
and yeah, availability. And it just, she just got some really bad breaks. So tough to see. I don't think we got to see her at her full potential. But again, it's a really stacked roster right now. I don't think she was going to be a women's champion anytime soon. She could have potentially been a tag team champion. But there's a lot of people who they have who are ready to go and who can stay healthy. And you kind of just gotta eventually you gotta be like, all right, these are the people I'm gonna put my time and my money into. And they just kind of couldn't rely on her. So it's really tough.
yeah. As far as far as Tegan goes, she's already booked for an indie appearance.
There we go.
What the show? Attack Pro Wrestling. And she also similar to Indy, she's 29, so like she's still young. You know, and could make a career living anywhere. I mean, the sky's the
Hmm.
limit. There's AEW, there's TNA. I'm sure somebody will take her.
Yeah.
And then the last
Yeah.
one, kind of revitalize his career a little bit in NXT. I'm actually surprised by this one. This one doesn't seem like the other two. I don't know if it's a situation where he just didn't want to resign. He was kind of over it, or like they didn't want to resign him. But Baron Corbin, after I want to say it was a 10-year career. I want to say he debuted in 2014, maybe even
Hmm.
earlier, in NXT. A long time vet, very interesting, just career arc in general, just kind of where he came from the lone wolf to Constable Corbin, the happy Corbin, the sad Corbin, the broke Corbin, to he goes back to NXT. King Corbin, I can't forget King Corbin.
Can't forget. He was king for
Can't
like 2
forget
years.
longest king ever. He goes back to NXT. He works with Braun Breaker, and I really think he brought Braun Breaker out of his shell and took kind of Braun to a different level. And I think the crowd really started to start fucking with Braun, man. I think it helped. Hell, you know what? It was so good. Even Baron Corbin got over as a face. Who would have thought
Yeah.
after all these
I
years?
I never thought I was going to be invested in Baron Corbin as a face,
Yeah,
and I was genuinely fucking with the Wolf Dogs
I
for
love
a
Wolf
period of
Dogs,
time.
man.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's I think salute to him on a long career. A lot of people
yeah,
don't make it this far. You know, he won singles gold, main evented shows, was constantly on TV, was constantly facing top talent. Like,
yes,
it's like when you look at his roster of opponents he faced, and then you look at like the lack of achievements, you know, it's easy for someone on the internet to be like, oh, he should have won this, he should have won that. But it was like, no, he shouldn't. But it's like, damn, like this, they really relied on this guy, and he really delivered. So salute to him. I got nothing bad to say about Corbin. I don't think he has anything to hang his head on. I don't think anyone
no,
should.
hell of a career.
Yeah,
A
like
lot, a lot, a lot of wrestlers would love to have the career Baron Corbin's had over the years.
absolutely.
A lot of wrestlers.
Yeah,
Shout out to Baron Corbin, whatever he ends up doing. A grilling show on YouTube. I don't know if he wants to wrestle somewhere else, but hey, hell of a run in WWE. I could see him having some kind
absolutely.
of like backstage producer role in a couple years or something like that. We'll see him in a suit breaking up a fight
For sure.
or
For
something
sure.
for sure. You want to talk about NXT?
Let's jump in NXT, man.
Jump in NXT. Did I miss something? Oh, I'm bugging. I did miss something. Before we go to NXT, briefly, um, Roxanne Perez was on In the Click podcast. Is that Xbox podcast?
That would make sense.
Sounds like it has to be. Speaking on the new horsewomen of NXT, this is the quote. It would be me, Roxanne, Cora Jade, Stephanie Becker, and Julia. I feel like we're a little alike in different ways, in the same way that we have always wanted to be a part of the WWE since we were young. We put in those years, those 1,000 hours to become great. Now we're able to be the part of the greatest women's division in the world, and I think that has a lot to do with us for women. Now, to me personally, one of these four that she named, and not like the other three.
I have a strong feeling on who you're gonna say.
Now, I understand that's a girl. I just you got to put your girl on or whatever. I get it, but I'm sorry, Miss Cora Jade. I can't put you in that horsewomen cat. You know what? It's not even her. I mean, she's been hurt.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, um, I can't. Yeah, like you said earlier, your best ability is availability. She's been hurt. She also got injured twice, I believe. So
Yep.
she's been gone for on and off for the last year and a half. It'd be very tough for me to say that if I'm looking at the NXT roster, she's getting replaced with who? Let me think. Is it crazy? I technically, I guess you could probably say Kalani would probably be a more deserving spot in this just because of her accomplishments.
Mm,
I'm not the hugest fan of Kalani, but I'm trying to think like who else. I was thinking maybe Jada, but I just feel like Jada is just not there yet. She's on her way. I see a lot in Jada.
mhm.
Um, Same with Lola. I think I see a lot in that. It I might have to put Kalani over her, or even over Cora Jade at this point, just because Cora she just hasn't been around.
I've got a few thoughts. I think while I do agree to an extent on the Cora thing, I think just because Cora was one of those early stars
WWE.
in 2.0 when they started 2.0, like she was
She was
one
a
of the
focal point.
pillars.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
a
she was
focal
one of the
point.
pillars of that division before she got hurt the first time. I understand why Rock said it, and honestly I would agree. I think Rox and Cora are the only people that I would put in the horsewoman conversation. Obviously Stephanie and Julia are amazing, but I feel like they haven't even been in
It's too
NXT
soon.
long
Yeah, it's
enough
too
to
soon.
kind of say that they, built the division and changed the game. They're obviously two of the top women there, but they need a little more time to make their impact, put on classic matches in NXT, become even bigger draws than they are right now. Like right now, it's still, oh, this is Julia who was in this company. That's Stephanie who had that great match with Mercedes Moné, but they don't have the catalog or the cachet within NXT, but they're still amazing, still top stars.
Okay.
Kaylani, I feel like it's a little too early for her too. Like she's got great matches, the Sol Ruka match that she had. She's got a couple really great ones, but she's just really getting to that mid to like top level in NXT. So I think it's a little too early for her, honestly. And it's funny, we had this conversation in the Discord a couple months ago. Who I would say are the
I was just gonna ask you
horsewomen.
that. Give me. I'm about to say post NXT. All right, since the beginning of NXT 2.0, so we'll say whatever post Black and Gold era. Who are
Mhm.
the four? Who are the four? Who would you define? Who are the four women that define kind of where we've been since 2.0?
For me, it would be Roxanne,
Okay.
Cora,
Yes.
Tiffany Stratton,
Okay.
and the fourth is the toughest one. Where we were struggling coming up with this when we talked about it. Like part of me almost wanted to go Kiana James, but she didn't necessarily
No,
reach that
no, no,
top
no.
level either. Like
Yeah, I
it's
wouldn't put her
it's
there.
there's a couple like maybes, but there's no solid fourth. And I think just trying to kind of duplicate the original Four Horsewomen is just kind of flawed in itself, just because of what they achieved at the time when women's wrestling wasn't as much of a priority. Like they made it so people
Yeah,
had to pay attention to women's wrestling. Now this is what WWE fans are just kind of expecting. They're obviously still standouts. Roxanne is one of the greatest women's wrestlers I've ever watched, but it's just different times. So I think even trying to force a four horsewoman conversation is flawed to a degree. But Rox, Cora, and Tiffany would be my three surefire options, and a fourth, I don't know.
no, no, no. We ain't doing politician answers. Give me a fourth.
Lyra, actually, Lyra.
Okay, I'm not mad at
Yeah.
Lyra. I totally forgot Lyra. That's so sad. I forgot Lyra exists. What are
Yeah,
they doing?
yeah.
I, you know what? I'm not mad at that four you got. That sounds very similar to me. Yeah, I guess you made a valid point with Cora.
Mhm.
I get it. Yeah, because she was there from the jump.
Yeah,
Kind of got to respect that.
yeah. That was like the feud, Rox and Cora being tag champs, and then Cora turning on her. So,
Yeah, do you remember that reaction when they threw the tag belt in the trash? Woo!
oh my God, bro.
He was mad.
Yeah, people was not happy, bro.
Boy, he said, "Look at Triple H. He doesn't care about women." Ah, you can't even do a wrestling angle these days no more, man. That's crazy.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Oh man. All right, now let's get into the NXT episode. NXT 2300. We're live from the ECW Arena, which I call the dump, and Discord quickly corrected me and said they have updated the venue. And it did look good on TV. It looked good on TV.
It looked
I
great.
love I love the feel of just like the weekly episodes being on the road. I hope they do it
Hmm.
more. I mean, I know PC's home base, so that's fair. It's very valid to just stay there. But I would maybe once a month they do a show outside. That'd be really cool to me. Maybe every
Yeah.
other month. I don't know.
No,
But
I agree. They make the shows on the road feel really special. Like this one felt
yeah,
like a big deal, from the cold open to all the legends coming back. Like it felt like I was playing SmackDown Shut Your Mouth with all the people who pulled up,
yeah,
who I remember from when I was a kid. It was awesome.
yeah. I love the intro with the old school ECW music. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Um, we start off the show hardcore. I love how they call it a hardcore match too to keep with the theme. That's fire.
Hmm.
Lola Vice, Jada Parker with special guest referee Dawn Marie. Let me tell you something. The crush I had on Dawn Marie back during that
Man.
like that SmackDown era. Let me tell you, woo. You know
Oh
what?
yeah.
Oh, good,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
great,
She's fine. She's fine. Still fine.
still fun. Yeah, I had a big crush on Dawn Marie back in the day. This match, hey, these two young ladies. You know what it is with Jada Parker? I know I can tell she's caught the wrestling bug and really fucks with this because she had not.
Hmm.
She is willing. She's willing to do a big spot. She'll take a weapon shot. She's fearless out there.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Lola to a degree too. I think they're both very kind of like the fuck you. I'll do it. I love this shit.
Nah,
I'm willing to die for this shit.
these hardcore street fight type matches for Jada, like that's her bag.
Yeah,
She really
yeah.
goes crazy in those. And it almost looks like she's used to it, like she was beating girls up in high school. Like it just
Probably
it
was.
looks second nature for her.
She do got that look. Yeah, that's the girl you didn't want to smoke. Nah, let me not do her like that. I'm about to say something foul. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh my God, come on. You about to get us canceled,
Nah,
bro.
nah. Please, yeah. It can't get any worse than my Andrew takes.
Oh man.
Yeah, I thought this match was fun. I thought it was a really fun match. My only issue, if I had to nitpick, it might be just due to just TV timing and not having the time. I wish they just slowed down a little bit. There's one point where like they just did like a sequence of moves
Mhm,
and like the crowd was like giving them a standing ovation. I just wish they just like stayed down and let the standing ovation happen.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Let the crowd like, really get that rise to a crescendo, then get up for
Yeah.
that next spot. But they kind of just like Jada just got right to the next spot. I want to
Yeah,
say it was after the ladder, like the corner or whatever that move is called, the hip drop joint that she does.
mhm.
And like they're both on the floor. I wish she just stayed on the floor for a little bit longer to let that swell up to a crescendo and
Yeah.
then get to the finish.
Yeah, definitely not mad at that perspective. I remember I was listening to John Cena on a podcast, and he talked about, just being able to listen to the crowd and being able to kind of like pivot based off of, how they're reacting, but sometimes just soaking in the moment too, letting the crowd soak in the moment. I think as they continue to wrestle, as they continue to get better and have big matches, I think that they'll get better at that. But I did love the kind of the chaos of it. Like both of them had a real sense of urgency that they brought to it. So it was kind
Yeah.
of fitting, especially with their rivalry. It's like, nah, like, yeah, I just hit you with a big move, but now I'm about to, hit you with this move. Like I'm staying on you. Like I really don't fuck with you. So I definitely do agree with you, but I kind of liked how aggressive they were.
Also, Lola by kicking out a brick to the head, crazy.
Insane.
What are they doing over there?
Yeah. Nuts.
Oh man. What else happens after that? The teardrop, yada yada yada. Oh, Ashanti. I'm just gonna go in order with how the show went. One, Dawn Marie. What was the point?
The point of her being referee.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, hey, the Dawn Marie's coming back. Cool. Like, that's really what it is. I'm never mad at just seeing a baddie.
they can't just show her in the crowd. What was she the referee for? They did
I
with Francine. They
mean,
just showed her in the crowd. Why can't they do it
hey
for Dawn?
man,
Why was she? I didn't understand that because
hey, I'm
she
not mad
had
at it.
no role in anything. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of having a special guest referee if they're just not going to be involved in the finish outside of like actually just counting one, two, three?
Hey man, sometimes that's all you need.
Sometimes that's all you need. When you Don Marie, I guess that's all that matters.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Backstage, Ashanti the Adonis and Carmen Petrovic had a really strange, to me, a really strange promo. I don't know what's going on with these two. Do they like each other? Do they not like each other? And not like on some like Gilmore Girls, like will they, won't they, like are they gonna get together? Is fucking Lorelai and whatever that nigga's name is get together, or whatever. It's like, yo, I don't know if they like each other or not. I'm very confused. Who's the other girl? What she have to do with anything? Do you have
Yeah.
any thoughts on this? Are you
It
like following this? Is this making sense to you?
I'm doing my best to follow it. It seemed like Carmen wasn't interested at first, or she was playing hard to get, and then she realized he was willing to move on, and now she acting jealous. Like, it's fitting. It sounds like some like Degrassi type stuff. But yeah, definitely a weird promo. And now it's almost like they flipped roles. Now Adonis is trying to is saying, he's not with it, but she's like, oh my God, he remembered my birthday. So this will certainly continue going on, and Yeah,
I,
hopefully
I'm just kind of confused because he was like at the beginning when he was talking to Dion, he was like, "Yo, I can't stop thinking about Carmen, right?" And then she's there, and she's like, "Yo, what's up? What's going on with that?" He's like, "Yo, I don't fuck with you like that." Like, what do you mean? You just told Dion
it's
you, huh?
she gave him attitude, man. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
didn't want to deal with that attitude.
can handle it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, next up, Wesley versus Javon Evans. Before the match happens, before the entrances come, Javon comes out. Wesley attacks RVD, who was backstage, chilling with Kalani. Yeah, attacks RVD. So he's out of the match or whatever involvement he was supposed to have with the match. Wesley versus Javon. I thought this was a very good match. I what did I want to say about this? I thought it was a fast paced match, but there was a little bit more psychology as compared to say this is what I wish Ricochet Osprey was like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there was a point where when Wesley did a poison Rana and like Javon actually sold it. I was like, see how hard was that? All you gotta do is just sell the poison Rana. You don't have to get back up and do another one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I thought this match was really fun. And
Hmm.
we get to the finish. RVD comes out. Hey, you know he's looking old.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like a couple months ago he was working at AEW. I thought he looked great. I
Hmm.
don't know why he came out tonight. I was like, this nigga looking old. He like limping on the walk in. Also, he clearly dyed his hair because that shit is jet
Uh,
black. I ain't never seen RVD
very
hair that dark.
aggressively.
I ain't
Very
never seen his
aggressively.
hair that dark before. That's like you remember when, like Eric Bischoff, like at the end of it, in like 2005 when he clearly had like gray hair. That shit was jet black.
Hmm.
That's what RVD's hair was looking like.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he kind of just comes out. He didn't do anything like physical. I wonder if he like just wasn't allowed to or what that was about. But like he didn't really do anything. He kind of came out and distracted Wesley, and then Javon got picked up the win. Oh, what I
Yeah.
don't what. Also, I they tried to have like Javon jump across the ring to do the frog splash. I don't know what that was about, but didn't look too good.
They're definitely being very ambitious ambitious with Javon spots, and I get it. He's a super athletic dude. That one,
That was a deep jump.
it was very far. I like, and I was looking too, like West rolled out of the camera shot. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, is he rolling out of the ring? And then I see him damn near the corner. I'm like, I don't know if Javon could go that far, bro. And
yeah,
clearly it didn't really work out, but yeah, I mean it's cool to see Javon do very athletic stuff. His cutter is incredible. Every time I see it, I'm like, damn, this dude, like he's
yeah, beautiful.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if any young talent has just been that great and that athletic in ring and picked it up like that fast over the course of my like almost over 20 years watching wrestling. Like he's got and I know he was wrestling somewhere else before he came to NXT, but he's like wrestling wise, I feel like he's already got it. And character wise, he's pretty good too. I think they could give him maybe a little more depth. You know, right now he's kind of just like those funny catchphrases that like 16-year-old kids use. But in ring wise, he's incredible.
Well, Armon, let me tell you something. He's only what 19, 20.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so
He go
it's
use
fine.
little goofy little catchphrases. You
Yeah,
ever hear hearing kids talk? Hearing my kid talk, I'm like, yo, what you be talking about, bro?
bro.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm like, I, these young whippersnappers, man. I don't know. I can't keep
Yeah,
up no more.
they
Yeah,
speak a whole different language.
I always tell my daughter this, like, yo, I was like, I thought being a young dad, I'd be able to keep up what the kids like or whatever. I don't know what these kids like. I don't know. I thought I'd be able to keep up. I can't keep up anymore. I don't know what these kids are into. It's all getting weird.
You wash, my boy. It's okay.
I am watched. I am watched. It's all right though. It's all good. It happens to the best of us. I found a couple more gray hairs the other day.
Oh man.
Tough out. It's rough out here. Oh man. Speaking of gray hairs, Bubba Ray Dudley and Trick Williams wrestle all ego Ethan Page and Rich Holland in a tag team match. Didn't care for this.
Yeah, the match was fine. Obviously the cool Bubba Ray spots. It was cool to see him in ring. A huge rub for Trick. Definitely wasn't like a classic or anything crazy. I even felt like the finish, Ridge getting the roll up on pin was the roll up on Trick was like really abrupt, kind of out of nowhere. Like usually they kind
Yeah.
of build up to a finish like that. It just kind of happened. Um, but I mean, a really big pin for Ridge, probably his biggest win of I don't want to say his career, but maybe. So full steam ahead to the Trick and Ridge title match. I'm interested in how that's gonna go. But yeah, it was a cool match, cool moment.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be a lot beater. I thought the match was really slow and really boring. I thought they spent a lot of the match building heat to on Bubba, kind of for the Trick Williams hot tag, and then we get there and it was like, oh, that's it. And then just to have Trick just lose on a roll up. Just I rather like we're doing all this building. We spent months of Ridge Holland terrorizing Chase U and beating niggas up. I don't want to see him pinning Trick on a fucking roll up, bro. Just have him like do the finish or whatever finish he does and pin him straight up. I don't know. I thought a roll up was kind of whack. Um, Bubba's old and moving slow. Get that nigga on busted open radio. I don't want to see him in my ring ever again. Um, Devon coming out was fun though. I did like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Also looking old as shit. How
Oof.
old is
Yeah,
Devon?
man.
Look how old the dude
The
is.
I'm gonna guess like 57.
Yeah, I feel like if you were in your 30s during the 90s, oh, he's only 52. Okay. If you're the
Okay.
grown man in the 90s, you old as shit. Um, he's like 52. He's looking definitely like a dad. Might be a grandpa at this point. Yeah,
Probably.
didn't wasn't really feeling this match. What else happened? Big announcement. Ava announced that Deadline is returning, and it will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota in December, and the Iron Survivor Challenge is coming back. Um, the women's Iron Survivor, they got a lot of choices. I don't know. I'm trying to think. They have so many girls.
Yeah, it's
It's like
scary.
somebody favorites getting left out of this match.
For sure. For sure.
The
It's
de- the
yeah,
depth of
they
the
can go
women's
so
division,
many different routes and still have a heater.
yeah, it's gonna be, I think, special. I think as far as the men go, they're probably a little bit more predictable. I could probably it might have like one wild card. I could see like I think Ridge is in. I feel like Ridge is a lock. I feel like Javon's a lock. Probably Ethan Page is a lock.
I wonder if they're gonna do Trick Ridge at deadline and then you have like Ethan Page, Javon,
We gotta
maybe
do six.
Wesley.
Hold on, when the deadline? Do we know?
It's December. I
Oh,
want to say December 7th, maybe December 6th, December 7th.
December 7th. How many weeks is that? That's 4 weeks. Yeah, I guess maybe they could do. Yeah, you might be right about that. So yeah, you know who I would like to see in that match? I would love to see Fraxium in that match.
Mm, okay.
That's
Okay.
their kind of match for sure.
Yeah.
And that could add to the story of whatever the fuck they got going on, like this whole if they're gonna break up or not thing that they've been doing for the last 6 months that I don't care about anymore. Let's get that
Yeah.
moving. Um,
Yeah, because I don't see any immediate tag team that would get the belts off of them. I know Regal talked to Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights tonight, and I mean that's an intriguing team that could get it for them. You give them the no quarter catch crew
pause.
yeah, the tag titles and the Heritage Cup. It's like, okay, all right. We're a real
I'm
legit faction.
Yeah, I just want to see them do something with Tavion. I think he's really impressive
Super
for
talented.
for such little experience. I think he's really good. After that, the announcement of Iron Survivor, Mr. Stone gets on the mic. He starts shitting on Philly. Said niggas like real niggas is in New York, real niggas is in Boston, which is a lie. They're not in
Yeah,
Boston.
big cap.
Uh, they're not in Boston at all. Uh, and then Rhino comes out, Mr. Detroit himself, real nigga. He comes out, spears Mr. Stone out of his shoes. I'm sorry, gores Mr. Stone out of his
Yeah, I was
shoes.
about to say, you get it right.
Forgot, get it right, Gore. My fault. You know what's interesting? My earliest memory of I'm sorry, of ECW actually. I didn't know what it was. So I spoke on it before. We were one of those houses that used to have the illegal cable box. So like we'd have all the pay-per-views for free or whatever.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I got into wrestling myself. I remember I was just kind of flipping through the pay-per-view channel. And it was an ECW pay-per-view. I just remember Rhino like doing a backstage promo. I think he was the champion. So I want to say it was probably like near like 2000-ish, near the end of ECW. Yeah, he was the champion. I remember like him cutting a promo. I was like, yo, who is this guy? This guy looks crazy. But I had no idea what ECW was at that point. I think I must have been 10 years old at that point. So yeah, I had no real idea. But I was like, oh, this is interesting. Who's this guy? And then, a couple months later, he shows up on SmackDown with Edge and Christian. So I was like, oh, cool. So he's one of my early favorite wrestlers. Um, so I've always got a soft spot for Rhino. That's my guy. But yeah, that's one of my earliest memories of ECW because I didn't watch it, when it was at its peak.
Yeah, yeah. My earliest memories of Rhino was him being on SmackDown, teaming up with He Who Shall Not Be Named. But
Who you
I
talking
always
about?
fucked
Oh
around.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
WrestleMania 18. Okay,
yeah,
I'm 19. I'm like, who
yeah,
you talking about? I forgot they were a team.
yeah. He Who
Uh,
Shall Not Be Named.
yeah, absolutely. Next up, North American title match: Tony D'Angelo versus Nunzio. What was the point of this? Another one. What was the point of this match? It was fun to see Nunzio though. I will say
Hmm.
that if you don't watch TNA, he is on TNA. He has his own like new FBI with some young niggas that I don't know who they are, but
Oh, nice.
they had like a 3 minute match where just Nunzio getting beat up the whole time,
Hmm.
and they hugged after. I was like, okay,
It was just
passing the
passing
torch.
the yeah, passing the Italian torch to Tony D. They probably all went and had some cannolis after the match. So, just a lot of Italian love, man.
Oh, that's I love that. I love just asking how old the people are. 52 to see that's a 52-year-old who looks pretty good out there. I will say
Hmm.
he looks like he's in great shape. So,
He's
so
fucking
shout out to
scrawny as
Nunzio.
fuck.
But he's always been scrawny, so I'll give it to him. But
Yeah,
shout out Nunzio, man. Shout out Tony Mama Luke. Where did they find Tony Mama Luke at?
I didn't even know who that was. So,
Yeah, WWE run.
oh, okay. I
I
was I was not
I, I,
familiar.
I want to say 2003. Whenever they debuted, he was there.
Like by the time I got to the full-blood Italians, it was Nunzio, Chuck Palumbo, and what was the third dude?
Was Vito with them at that point? Big
Vito.
Vito. Big
Yeah,
Vito.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Was he rocking the dress yet?
No, no, not yet. That was like a year or two later.
It was wild. Um, Nikita Lyons talks about why she attacked Rizzo. Do we see a future with heel Nikita?
I think that'd be a good character for her. I know initially they were trying to push her as a baby face, I'm pretty sure.
I, I think the trajectory of Nikita Lyons would have went so much different. I think a lot of girls probably. I feel like they were prepping her to be the world champion at one point.
Oh, 1000%. 1000%.
The way the trajectory was going, then she got hurt. But like I feel like initially they were all in on her when they were the early 2.0 days when they were just like throwing. They were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna put the new people with championships and shit." They were just like, "Fuck it." I think they're a little bit more cautious of doing that now, but back then they were. I think they were absolutely willing to put that world title on her.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, she's super popular, as much as
That
we
girl was
try to.
viral.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's very popular over the internet, but she's got the look. Like, I think that if she's able to stick around and stay healthy and put
Yeah,
together a catalog of matches, she can be something really, really big for them. And there's more than enough talent for her to mix it up with. I think it's up to her to. Well, it's not necessarily up to her. She's had some bad luck with injuries, but I think if she can stick around and kind of refine the character a bit, the Zeus catch lines and the kind of lean to the ebonics doesn't necessarily work, but I do think being a heel is like perfect for her. So we'll see.
we will see. We will see. Regal, we kind of spoke about it earlier. Regal with no quarter catch crew, kind of like, hey, what's my man's name? What's the nigga's name? What's
Which
his son's
one?
name? His son.
Oh, it's Charlie Dempsey.
Charlie did. I want to call him Charlie Murphy so bad.
Charlie Murphy.
I don't want to call him Charlie Murphy bad. Yeah, Charlie Dempsey. He was like, what did he say? He said, are you my is it like father, like son, or whatever? He said some shit like that. So
Yeah.
I do think it's funny they're kind of like they're hinting at their father and something. They're not like straight up saying it, even though everyone knows that's who it is.
Yeah, it's
I
weird because like months ago, Regal came out and kind of gave him the rub, and
yeah,
now Regal's against him. Like I thought Regal was gonna like turn on Lexus, but I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation.
yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of I don't know if you were watching back when like pre Too Cool era when like Brian Christopher was on Raw every week and Jerry All Lawler was acting like that wasn't his son for mad long. And they would just run with the joke for like I think they ran with it for years. It's kind of like no, it's not my son. Even though they
Mm.
sound exactly alike and look exactly like that kind of reminds me of um main event. Talk about just an all-star cast of women. Julia, Stephanie Vacker, Kalani Jordan, Zaria, and Jordan Grace defeat Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Fatal Influence. Just a really fun match. Everybody got
Yeah,
showcased. The end is Zaria hitting the F5 on Roxanne for the pin.
not to
So
mention she speared Jordan Grace before
she sure
that.
did spear Jordan Grace before that.
Hmm.
So it's interesting to see where that goes. But
Yeah,
man,
that
yeah, just a
was.
really fun match. Also, shout out to Zarya for doing the F5. I feel like a woman doing the F5. It feels like I've never seen that before.
Mhm.
I like it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, it's fitting. Like Zarya is
Yeah,
a
it fits her
fucking
perfect.
powerhouse.
Yeah,
like doing the spear is cool, but everyone does a spear. We've only seen
yeah.
like Brock Lesnar, Matt Morgan briefly, and now her doing it. So I love it. I absolutely
War,
love it. But
Wardlow
yeah.
too. Shout
Oh, well, Willow did that five. Interesting.
yeah, he did the
Huh.
F5. I believe Brian
Yeah.
Cage does too. I think he calls like the F10 or something, but who
Oh,
cares about Brian
Messi.
Cage?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, forget them. But nah,
uh,
really, really good match. I thought Kaylani was stellar in it. I thought Jasmine Nix had some really good moments in the match.
yeah, Jap and Nick kept up. I'm proud of her, man. She
Yeah,
kept she
yeah.
kept up with everybody.
She's improving, man. That performance center works, man. It works.
Yeah, plus just I think just being around a vet like JC, I believe Fallon, she's been in the game for some time too.
For sure.
Along with the coaches, yeah, you can't go wrong. The PC
Yeah.
works. As much as people want to lie and say it doesn't work, it works. It clearly works. These girls are keeping up with the vets, and they don't look like they're lost out there. And that's all you can really ask for from a wrestler
Yeah.
like Jasmine Nix or anything like that.
I
I,
thought a really cool moment was when the ECW Arena crowd was chanting women's wrestling. Like if you told people back in the day an ECW Arena crowd would be chanting women's wrestling, they'd be like, "What?" Like absolutely
what
shocking.
would they be championing? This was 25 years ago.
Probably be chanting something very vulgar like about ass and titties. So we've come a long way.
I'm a little disappointed in Vic. I wanted a cat fight call. I know it's probably not the most appropriate thing to announce during a women's match in 2024, but I needed a cat fight call. It was right there when all 10 of them were fighting in the ring. You got to call a cat fight. You got to do it. You
Hey
gotta.
man,
No.
so
Oh my god. No. Oh my god. This week,
that's what I was waiting for.
Vic
That's
was off
really the
the
one I was
table.
waiting for.
I expected an oh my god. We didn't even get that. I thought they were gonna do that when when what was it Javon got thrown over the announce table. I
Oh,
thought we were gonna get the oh my
yeah,
god. Yeah, we didn't get the oh my god.
yeah.
Also, no 3D.
That surprised me too. Like I thought Trick was gonna be the one catching, catching Paige, but they went for that,
Yeah.
kind of hanging double power bomb.
Yeah, what is that?
I was
That's
like, hey,
whack.
hey, Bubba, I understand that you old, but like you could definitely lift someone up in the air for
You
the
could get up.
3D.
You can get up for that 3D.
For sure, for sure.
It's
But hey,
bugging. I'm
man,
not trying to see
you
the
know,
what's up. I'm trying to see a
yeah,
3D through a table. You brought a table out. I expect a 3D.
absolutely. But
If I see a table in the ring and two of the Dudley boys in the ring, I want to see a 3D. I don't want to see a double choke slam, whatever the fuck that was. Get that shit out of here.
yeah,
But
yeah, it's
besides that, great show.
really good show, really fun. A lot of nostalgia moments, a lot of damn man, like I'm old. I remember when this dude was was wrestling every week and he was young. Really good, really good. NXT continues to be just entertaining, good in ring, good segments, funny, just really, really everything that you could want out of wrestling from all angles. So yeah, I
It's such
really
a
enjoyed it.
variety. It's such a variety show of just like
Hmm.
everything. Even if it may not be the best wrestling, sometimes it's bad wrestling to be honest with you, or just not even just like not enough. But like the show is so entertaining. It's such like crash TV, but like in a good way. Where, like there's just so much shit happening all the time. There's so many characters that play all the time. Like it was a no brainer for me between choosing and watching the two shows. Even if AEW show tonight was good, I'll know tomorrow when I watch it or whatever. But like,
Hmm.
there's no way I would have more fun time discussing and talking and watching that show compared to what NXT puts on every week. It was really a no brainer for me to choose between the shows. But yeah, any final thoughts on kind of just ECW? I'm sorry, NXT 2300 or
No,
anything like that.
it was great, man. I hope they continue. And NXT typically does these themed weekly shows, and I just hope they keep it coming, man. And I'm sure like Kaylani was probably giddy as fuck being around RVD, and that definitely wasn't their first time linking up, but I just know
Yeah,
like
no,
her and Trick was super excited to work with Bubba Ray. I'm sure Tony D was, and it's just dope to see those really cool moments for young talent because I think a good thing NXT does is all the moments that like people on Twitter might be like, oh, it'd be so great if this person came back to do this with this person on the main roster. You're getting it in on NXT, and I think that's just really cool for the young talent coming up. And I know they,
yeah.
gain a lot of wisdom and are taught some things too. So just as a fan, getting to know some of these wrestlers and just like you said, we kind of see them growing up. I'm just happy for them to be able to get that.
100%, 100%. Um, that's all I had. Armon, thank you so much for staying up late night with me recording. Uh, you lucked out. You didn't have to talk about AEW. We would have been here till 12:30 talking about wrestling. So the
Yeah.
fact that we're gonna get this done by 11:22, I love it. You can follow up, put out all your socials and everything you got going on. You got too much stuff for me to keep up with at this point.
For sure, for sure. Y'all can follow me at Armon Sadler on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Of course, you can check out the Rewriters Room we release bi-weekly on the A Show RNC network and the patreon.com/the A Show RNC. You can follow my music, sports, and wrestling podcast, Stay Busy with Armon Sadler at Stay Busy Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I think that I covered all of the main things. I mean, of course, a writer for Vibe too. I'll be posting my articles, so you can just search my name or go to my page, and you can find my author page. And yeah, there's always something random going on. So you follow me on social media, you'll know everything that I'm doing.
Boys everywhere, let me tell you. Please follow all the socials. Y'all know the drill by now. A Show RNC on X, Twitter, Instagram, uh, TikTok. We got all those things. You can follow me at the comeback spot. You can follow Cyrus on TWR. I mean, yeah, y'all know the drill by now. Thank you for listening. Next week, we review both shows. Don't know who the co-host will be next week, but we'll figure it out when we get there. All right.